All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the November 18th of the Ashland Board of Health meeting to order. Okay, the first thing on our agenda is citizen participation. Do I have anybody for citizen participation? I don't see any hands raised, so we'll move on to the next thing. So Raj, I think the next thing on our agenda is from Cirrus Apartments. I believe they are not going to attend tonight. We got an email, is that correct?
That is correct, Chief. But a couple of updates on the board for the board on that. I can brief the board.
Okay, go ahead, Raj.
Thank you. So I did get a couple of emails from them, right, stating what been done, and there is a new dumpster that been placed in the back that have a cover, right. I did two inspections from the time that's in place. Both the times the cover was not on. So I did send an email to the management, but was a little weird question that I got back today from them saying that they was not told to keep the cover on, that I'll be addressing. The other thing is the concrete pad is still not on. So I don't know, I mean, how much time board want to give them more, that's another question for the board. I was there today. She did mention in the email today that they're still working on it, but it's up to the board. How much more time, if we need to give it to them to have a concrete pad or impervious surface.
All right. So I'll be kind of looking for board comments on this. I know we gave them till tonight to rectify and get things into compliance. But if you want to, Raj, what's your thoughts or suggestions?
So definitely from my end, right, it's going on for a couple of years. It's at least more than a year now, right. We can give them maybe another 2 weeks or so, to comply with it, at the max, but they need to get going. We can't have this lingering, at least from the standpoint of the rodents and all that.
I'm okay with giving them 2 more weeks. Does anybody else have any concerns or think that's good to go with that?
I'm fine with giving them another 2 weeks. I guess my question is let's say 2 weeks goes by and they're still out of compliance. What power do we have that we have not already exercised to get them into compliance?
Mr. Kingsman, that'll be citations, right? I mean, they're in violation of the housing code, that we can issue citations. The last citation I had to them was last month. I have given them $100 citation that was non-compliance with the housing code. They have overflowing dumpster. So this is again a violation of the housing code. So we can do that.
Sure. I mean, I'm fine with you continuing to issue citations until they're in compliance. I think that's fine.
Thank you.
Does the citation increase in value, or is it $100 every time?
No, sir. So the first citation is $100. After that is 200 and 300, and they can be a citation every day till they're compliant. So.
Yeah, I would say let's see where we are in 2 weeks, and if there's no there's no progress and they're not back in compliance, then we should notify them that that's what's going to happen.
I will do that, sir. Thank you. And Dr. J, you're saying you can't unmute? Laura, try if you can unmute Dr. J. Yeah, here we go, sir. Yeah.
Can you hear me now, Raj?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, I agree with the sorry, I was distracted with that. But I agree with the citation plan, Raj.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay,
And
okay,
it looks like there's a hand
yeah,
up.
I know, I just saw that and I can't see who it is because I'm on my phone and it's so small. I wish I could get it back on my computer.
Chief, the name is Laura Romney. Yeah,
Okay, can we get her to, Laura, can you unmute her so we can see what her question is?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Hey, I couldn't get to the hand quick enough for the public comment. And so I'm here to comment about the Kratom discussion. So I'm happy to speak whenever you are up to, if you want to wait until you address that issue or now, or you just let me know. And I know I've got a couple other people. I've got one other person I know that's trying to do public comment. So I just didn't know when we can actually comment on that.
Chief, you want me to answer that, Chief?
Yes.
Laura,
Yeah,
we are not taking any comment for Kratom today. It's just me updating the board. So there's no
Oh, okay.
discussion on this today.
Okay, no problem. So just to let you know that I did send you an email today. And so I just encourage you to look at that email and reach out to me with questions because there's lots of good information. I'm a Kratom educator and I can really help answer a lot of questions. I've done that in Massachusetts, to
Absolutely.
several other boards of health. Anyway, I'll let you go, but I appreciate you letting me know and I'll look forward
yeah,
to hearing from you.
yeah,
Absolutely. No, I'm sorry, I was not able to respond. I had
Oh, that's
multiple
okay.
emails, but
No, that's okay.
we'll be responding back. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your
yeah.
help.
Thank you.
And it will be on a future agenda also.
Oh, good. Good to
Okay.
know.
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so the next thing on our agenda, Raj, is the nicotine-free generation discussion. And I know Jay had some comments on this also.
Yeah, I can start. And I guess I can just start with the select board meeting. I watched that, and thanks for sending it, Raj. I actually watched the recording even before you sent it, and I know that you and Dave were there. And just I guess to recap that in no particular order, my take on what was said there, maybe some of the concerns. I mean, I think everybody feels the same way that these products are certainly harmful. I don't think anybody would argue about that. But what I took away from hearing the select board were a few concerns. One was um, that there are already legislative actions at the state level on this. And I think that the question was, do we move ahead? Does any community move ahead knowing that there's going to be a patchwork of regulations in place until the state really makes a decision as to how they want to approach this or not? Um, and I'm really paraphrasing what came out of that meeting, but basically relating to these regulatory islands that might form if certain communities are creating regulations and others are not. So related to legislative action, does the town of Ashland, want to create regulation versus the direct democracy approach, which is what was used in Brookline? That came up. Again, no answers to these, just concerns that had come up. Um, and then the question of overregulation, government overreach. And again, I'm paraphrasing, those were not the words that were used, but it was related to that. And um, so I don't disagree with what was said at the select board meeting, but for me, I think the question for our board is really, is this consistent with the mandate of the Board of Health in Ashland? And I'll tell you, as I read, just go to my notes here. Um, as I read through the Mass Association of Health Boards, the guidebook entitled Duties of Local Boards of Health in Massachusetts, I can't make any real clear connection between the nicotine-free generation and public health protection. The way I read this guidebook, and what I have always thought for the last 4 years of being on this board was that we're talking about the preventing the spread of communicable diseases, ensuring safe food, water, housing conditions, managing environmental hazards and waste disposal, licensing, inspecting establishments that serve the public, addressing nuisances that may be injurious to health. And Dr. Rich, had mentioned some of these, asbestos and lead paint, environmental toxins, pesticides, things like that. So that's what I see as our traditional mandate. And, is this going outside of that? I tend to think that it is, but I just figured I'd start the conversation with that and open to hearing what the other members think.
Um, I agree with Jay's last point, especially. My perspective is that while I would love to live in a world where nobody uses tobacco or nicotine products, there are also a lot of things that I would like to see in the world that I don't have the right to tell other people what to do. And while there might be room to argue that this board could and possibly even should essentially abolish the use of tobacco or nicotine products from some arbitrary point in time forward, I do think it goes too far. We have laws and regulations on the books right now that are intended to do what I think is a prudent thing with regard to public health, which is to keep young people from beginning what will almost certainly be for them a lifelong habit of nicotine use if they start at that age, or at least something that they have to fight to escape. And the laws are intended to prohibit them from making those kinds of decisions until they become adults. And in our society, we allow people to do a lot of things that, while we may not agree with, and while they certainly wouldn't be advisable for that person's health or so forth, we still let them do it. And in another context, we just came out of COVID and all of the restrictions around COVID. And I think that it is not unreasonable to suggest that public attitudes about our institutions, including those intended to protect public health, has deteriorated in large part because most people see what happened during COVID and the restrictions as going too far. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think there's an education problem there, and they don't understand what the purpose was. We were also, making up the rules in the middle of that situation when we had incomplete information. But regardless, one of my chief concerns is to try to not erode that trust any further by going so far as to tell adults of a certain age what they can and cannot do when it only affects them and their health. We have a lot of the regulations around smoking are intended to protect people from inhaling secondhand smoke because somebody else is smoking. And so I think that is a reasonable thing to do. But to tell an adult what they can and can't do is a step that we should only take when it is clearly necessary. And I'm not convinced that that is the case with the nicotine or tobacco-free generation approach.
And I think also we had discussed that this most likely also is not a board decision. It's not feasible for 5 of us to make a decision for the whole town. And I think once we see any state legislation, or if this is something we want to pursue, then this should probably be something that gets voted on by the community. Thoughts from the board?
Yeah, I mean, so my understanding is the way that it went down, the way it was explained to us at the presentation was the way that it went down in Brookline was that I'm not sure the backstory of the Board of Health's involvement there, or but that it went to town meeting, citizens petition, direct democracy. They voted on it, and it, you know, I think it went to the Supreme Court, state Supreme Court, and withstood legal challenge. And I'm assuming that's because it had the backing of the residents in Brookline. So I don't see why one would want to deviate from that approach. Aside from, going through Board of Health is obviously going to be easier to have a regulation, but beside that, I thought that when we were approached, maybe that was the direction that people wanted to take it, was to go to town meeting. So, but still, I keep coming back to is it really consistent with the mandate of our Board of Health? And I just don't see the connection. I mean, that's what I keep coming back to.
Yeah, I agree that if that's what the residents of town decide that they want, then that is totally fine by me. I'm not comfortable with the idea of making that decision for everybody else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's how, I think that it worked in other communities like Brookline, which is sort of the flagship in this regard, right? That the Board of Health implements it, it enforces it, and supports it after it's approved at town meeting. So, and I think that we would do the same, right? We would do the same.
Any other comments? So Jay, what would our next steps be at this point then? Do we wait for state information, which could take a long time, or I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I mean, my understanding is that citizens can petition if they would like. It's too late to get that on into this town meeting, but I think the next one is in the spring, and I'm not quite sure how that they need 10 signatures, or is it 10 to get that on the petition, or is it 100? I forget. Maybe it's 100 for special town meeting, but I admit that I don't know the process. But if interested residents were interested in pursuing it that way, it would go to town meeting as a bylaw proposal.
So Raj, maybe if you could report back to the town manager and the select board that we feel as a board of 5, this is really not our decision to make, and maybe even a joint meeting with them to talk about next steps.
I will definitely do that, Chief. Yes, I'll bring this over to them.
Are you all good with that idea?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Perfect. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any additional comments on that, or should we move on? Okay. All right. So the next thing on the agenda is Raj's report.
Thank you, Chief. So first, with the tobacco violation that, as the board knows, we did had a sale to minor violation at Main Street Wines and Spirits. I did had issue a $1,000 fine that is paid since the violation happened, and did get an email from Mr. Goldberg that I've sent to the board. His son is getting sworn in today, so he was not able to attend the meeting today. So we have to bring him in front of the board in the upcoming meeting. So we did look when I went to the store to give him the letter and the violation. We did check the video recording. It seems it's a new employee, that have done the mistake. So he'll explain more, what transpired and what's the next steps, So, but that's what I know so far. But the violation for $1,000 is paid. The OpenGov online permitting update, so we was working from 6 months or even more, right, on the OpenGov software. The permitting part is working good. Laura is doing wonderful work. All our applications to anybody we permit went through the OpenGov now. We still had some challenges with the inspectional software. So I have spoken to the management and we're working with Doug and the OpenGov team. We might not pursue the inspectional software with them anymore. So we might be using that for something else with the town. On that, so the next item is metrics that I want to brief board, or we have spoken earlier also, right? That's the software the state, the DPH is developing for all the 351 communities in Massachusetts. So we'll probably be adopting or getting that software that will be available to us free of cost, and we'll be probably doing our inspections on that, until June 2026, right? We have the relevant software that is paid from the grant. Mr. Berman, it, right? You adopted it when you was here, right? So we're working on that. State might not. And right now, like we have 3 licenses, 2 food and one housing that we are getting it paid through our share services grants, right? It's $1,800 per license, right? Around $5,400 that we pay every year for that permitting. Hopefully, if the state extends that, we might keep that, or otherwise we might switch to metrics. So that's for right now. This is where we are. Did attend the MHOA conference from November 5th and 7th, and I did attend one of the sessions, on NFG also there, at the conference. And Kratom and 7OH, we've got multiple emails. I guess there are a couple of emails has come through from the time we started the meeting, and I've sent the emails to the board. That's something we need to discuss. Other thing, Mr. Pari, who is our tobacco control manager from Framingham, right? We are part of that group. He's also on the meeting today. This afternoon, this evening, he was checking like how many of our vendors are selling Kratom. He been to 12 of the vendors this evening, and he have found like 2 of the vendors are selling Kratom. And I don't know, Dr. J, if you want to update anything to the board on that.
Yeah,
please go ahead.
it's a longer discussion. So, I don't know if you want to get into it. I sent everybody, or maybe I sent it to you to distribute, Raj, basically like a desk reference of where things stand with all of the Kratom stuff, or Kratom as some people pronounce it. But with regard to the not only the pharmacology and the science, but the regulations and the meetings that went on over the summer between the FDA and the DEA and Department of Health and Human Services at the federal level. So this is being considered at the federal level. It's being considered at the state level. There are like a ton of bills at the state level. There's like 5. I don't think anything's going to move on that probably until 2026. It could be as early as tomorrow, but I think 2026. And the basic question is whether or not at the state level we will be allowed to be using and selling Kratom leaf, Kratom powder and it looks like there'd be a ban on the 7-hydroxy product, which is the concentrate, and that's what most people are concerned about. So it looks like it's kind of headed in that direction. But if you want to just wait and discuss it, in December, we'll have a regular agenda item for it. We can, but and I'm happy to answer any particular question because, like I said, I've done work in this area for quite a while. So.
And Mr. Kingsman have sent us two of the current legislations that's going on. So, and I did speak to Mr. Pari, who is our tobacco control manager, right? So right now it's just considered as a herbal product, right? It's not sitting nowhere within our regulations with tobacco right now, right? So, I mean, we did had our compliance checks last month. All the 17 vendors got checked, right? So, I mean, that's right now that until board decides anything, or anything comes from the state, this is where we are.
Right. And just to be clear, there are two different things. There's the concentrated 7-hydroxymetragenine, which is the chemical that people feel is, the harmful product. And then there's metragenine, which is the non-active parent molecule in the leaves. And there are vendors that are selling the concentrated product. And what people that use this product, advocates for the leaves themselves, are fighting to keep available just the leaves. And so, the natural product itself. And so, whatever is being sold out there, like I went to one place today in Ashland just to see if they had it. And I sent you the email, Raj, and to you too, Ed, just to forward it to you. And that those would be if the state legalizes kratom, the leaves, then they would be in full compliance because that's all they were selling basically. So I don't know what Parry has seen. Parry, you can certainly tell us, what the products actually are, but that's what I saw anyway.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I went this evening after speaking to the director and had a quick visit to 12 stores. I found mostly I didn't see any tablet or capsule or powders. I saw the energy drink form of kratom with its botanical name. As per the state law, as of now, synthetic kratom is banned. There is no law concerning to natural kratom. So it is up to the board now. And as we don't have any adult only store in Ashland, because I had, in my experience, I had seen this 7-hydroxy product only in adult only stores, not in most of the convenience stores or non-age restricted stores. Yeah, that is where we are now.
So you're saying that the 7-hydroxy concentrated product is banned in Massachusetts?
If it is a synthetically derived product, then it is banned in Massachusetts.
Well, it's always going to be synthetically derived.
Yeah, so if that is the case, it is banned. It is not
Really?
allowed. It's illegal in Massachusetts.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay. I'll have to
And
check.
the products doesn't clearly say whether it is synthetically derived or naturally derived, and we don't know who's the manufacturer, or they don't carry any manufacturer's document like tobacco products. So, and it doesn't come under my scope, so I'm not going deep into that. So,
Right. Yeah. And I've only seen pictures of it on the web. I've never, and if I've gone into a gas station or whatever, I kind of think I've seen some of these products like the energy drinks or whatever, but I've never seen what we've seen on the web, which is like the pills and things like that. But I just don't, I don't go into those places. But and now maybe it would make sense because
I was in Marlboro inspection today. I was in adult only store. I saw 7-hydroxy, one product there. But truly, from my perspective, if I am a layperson or a general public, if it is for a medical use, I would suggest to be sold in a medical CVS or Walgreens or in a medical facility, not in an adult only store, because adult only store is for like energy drink, or it's not like a medicinal store. That's what I would suggest.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's my opinion that the state is going to make a decision about this. If not this year, it will be next year. And personally, I don't have a problem with the natural product being available for people because I think, based on everything I've read, it can be extremely helpful for people. And it seems like most people are on the same page with regard to the synthetically derived product.
Okay. So I work for 16 communities under this MTCP DPH tobacco control program, and most communities have banned or prohibited the sale of kratom, like Westboro prohibited the sale of kratom. Next, Marlboro has gone for prohibiting the sale of kratom. So within the 16 communities, I can see more communities going for the prohibition of kratom, irrespective of natural or synthetic. Just are going for the prohibition.
Right. And they would still be allowed to do that even if the state were to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a board of
Yeah.
health decision.
For me, I mean, just my personal opinion, I think that's kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I don't think that level of ban is necessary based on what I know about this. But and I'm happy to save that for the next time that we meet.
Sure.
I haven't been on the board for as long as some people. But so I asked the following question: is it normal in a situation like this, if we, after not this discussion, but the next one where it's on the agenda for a full discussion, is there a way for us to communicate to the state what type of outcome we would like to see, and to say that we would prefer an outcome sooner rather than later? Because I am aware that some issues, for whatever the reasons, can just linger in bill form in the legislature and never see the light of day, or at least take longer than I think that it should to reach a decision. Is that something that we would normally do, like write a letter to our representatives? Or, I mean, obviously we can do that as private citizens, but is that something that a Board of Health would normally do in a situation like this as well, or not?
I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do that, Dave. I haven't done that. I haven't, experienced that on the board. But I don't see why not. And yeah, I agree. It would be nice if there was a decision made sooner than later.
All right. Anybody else? All right. So, Raj, I guess you continue on.
Thank you, Pari. I appreciate you going out so quickly and getting that numbers to me, and your input on this. One thing I want to ask, right? Please keep an eye. If anybody in Ashland is gonna sell 7OH, right? We
Sure.
definitely want to keep an eye. I will also do some spot inspections, right? In case you find something like that, please bring it to our attention.
Sure, I'll keep
Even
you
though
posted.
we'll be discussing this next meeting, but we still want to keep an eye on that, right?
Sure, I'll do that. Thank you so
Thank you,
much
sir.
for having me.
Appreciate it. So next eve is the drug take back. We have a very successful drug take back day that was hosted by our police department at the community center on October 25th. With the beaver dams, we did had a complaint about the beaver dams, and we actually found 4 of them. I went with WACA for our conservation agent. So we found one beaver dam under the covered that's under the tracks. So she reached out to the railroad authority, right? They took care of that. One of the dams was on town property, and then there was 2 of them. One was I guess the property of 7 Harper Lane, and then one on the property of 7 Tea House Street. This information I got from Becca. So the issue is still there. We are working on it, right? Though given the town properties involved, there are definitely beavers there. So keeping an eye, and in case we need to issue an emergency permit, we'll do that to take care of that problem. The clinics are going well. These are the clinics with the pharmacy. We already had 5 clinics so far this season. Tomorrow is the 6th clinic. We had 49 shots on October 13th, 24 on October 27th, 15 on October 29th, and 8 vaccines on November 12th. One clinic we did it at the community center, and we'll continue. This is in addition to our Wednesday and Thursday clinics that we do at the town hall. That are the childhood vaccine clinics. These clinics are done by the Pine Hill Pharmacy, and we just host it at town hall. With the unpermitted chicken situation, 237 Pleasant Street still with conservation. Donna have reached out again to the property owner or the person. They have not applied with the conservation so far, so we're working on that. With our housing cases, we picked up a couple of new cases at the Chestnut Place Apartments. One was 19A Joint Drive number 3A that I've got compliance on it. All the items other than the pests are resolved. I did had a couple of pest control reports from them, but last week we did pick up a case in building 8 that was infested with roaches and some mice activity. We did issue a order letter on that. The same week we had another one in the same building, so a little concerned with the pest activity at the Chestnut Place Apartments. And I had a couple of inspections at that dumpster also. Both time it was not good, so I'm going to keep the board informed how this going to be going. 49 Cherry Street, that's the case that we was in front of the board last time. Mr. Robert, who's the property manager or the person from the agency. So the occupant is still there, though it seems there was eviction that was granted by the court, but he's still there. I have forwarded the board the email from him, but we'll table it for the next one. Hopefully we have that resolved by then. And I'm sorry, I missed the monkeypox advisory. So there was an advisory from the board that from DPS that I've sent. We did see an uptick in the number of cases that we picked up. The 34 cases this year in Massachusetts for monkeypox. Arbovirus, I guess we already have a couple of frosts, so total 9 West Nile cases this year. We did pick up one late. No triple E cases. That's very good news, So, and I guess we did see one animal case for West Nile virus. With the disease investigation, 2 TB cases that we're actively working. We did pick up one case of an acute Hep A. No, my bad, Hep C, that we are working on, so. And I'm going to open to any questions from the board now.
Does anybody have any questions for Raj?
Nope.
No.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that update, Raj. So the next thing on our agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which will be in the consent agenda is the review and approve the fiscal year 26 year-to-date budget report and the meeting minutes from October 21st. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Ed.
Second.
And I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous, Laura. Next thing on the agenda is discuss future agenda items, tobacco regulation violation, hearing tobacco regulation, review the well regulation review, approval of the 2026 permit renewals, and grease trap waivers. That's on our next agenda. If anybody has anything that you want added, reach out to Raj and Laura. Does anybody have any new business or any other discussion items?
Just a question. Are we meeting in person for those December meetings?
Raj, I think we said the December 2nd meeting. Was that correct? Was going to be in person?
If I don't recall, but
well, why don't we do this? Should we see how much of an agenda we have, and then we can make a decision? Does that sound reasonable to everybody, or do you want to just make a decision tonight?
I only ask because I noticed that I forget where I saw it. Maybe it was on the town website, but they had this meeting listed as through Zoom, and then the next couple of meetings it didn't have the link. Now maybe that's just how we do it. We don't post the link until.
No, sir. Yeah, you're right. So we finalized this, a couple of days before we post it, right? So
Okay.
But again, it's up to the board, we are
Well,
fine either
so-
way, so.
So why don't we do this? When we get closer to the December 2nd meeting, I'll have a discussion with Raj. If there's not a big agenda, we'll do Zoom, but if there's a larger agenda, we'll plan to do it in person.
Okay.
Does that sound okay to everybody?
Yep.
I think
we've
in
got
person.
Great. Yeah, so
If-
as of right now, our next meeting is December 2nd.
Okay.
Okay. If nobody has any new business, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
We've got a hand up, Ed.
Oh,
Looks like
there.
Davey.
someone has a question from Laura, can you?
Yes, good evening. Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
can hear you.
Oh, how's it going? I am a new owner of a pizza business at 9 Homer Ave in Ashland. And I had some issues with the Board of Health, and I went to the town hall and spoke with Raj and Laura, and they told me to attend today.
Raj, can you update us on what's going on?
If I don't know if they was required to be here. So this was a couple of weeks back, right? Tom was out for a re-inspection that we did on the previous establishment, and we found a new owner. It was closed because of that, So I don't know if Mr. David, was that you that came in, or was that your
Yes.
son?
No, that was me.
Okay, so we have not required you to be here on the meeting, I don't know where that came from, but I mean, are you gonna be doing the renovation now, or?
Yeah, we are currently doing a renovation and changing the name of the business. So I'm going through the building department and applying for the food permit and all those things.
Just to let you know, you need our approval for the changes, before you do any work, so just want to be clear on that.
Okay, I'm here, whatever you need.
Yes, we're gonna be needing the plans or, cut sheets of any equipment you're gonna be bringing in or changing, so I know you have submitted some part of it, but we're gonna need cut sheets, whatever changes you're making need to be on the plan, so we're gonna submit
Yeah.
it.
I submitted all the equipment a lot of the most of the equipment are just, prep tables, and I have a couple sandwich fridges, and the new equipment that I bought, I have already submitted to the portal.
Just to let you know, sir, yeah, but you cannot buy equipment till it's approved, but I will look at it and get back to you,
Okay,
right? But yes, you are not required from our side to be on this meeting,
okay, perfect.
okay?
All right,
Yeah, and Raj, maybe if you could reach out and give him some assistance,
Absolutely,
Please.
Chief,
yeah,
Yes.
that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That being said, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thanks, Barbara. Need a second. Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. See you all in December.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Have a great
Thank you.
night.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Uh,
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.